How has Hobby been progressing? It seems like he's been getting a little bit better every week.
Yeah, I'm really excited about how he's grown mentally. Obviously, he's getting better physically. He got close to a few sacks in several games, which is frustrating for him. We told some of the other guys, follow Hobby around, he'll give you a sack. So, jokingly, the good thing is he's getting pressure on the quarterback. Hopefully, he can seal the deal on a couple more. He made a nice sack against Virginia Tech just by depth awareness, and we were really nervous about that quarterback's speed. That guy was legit fast, and if he had snuck through there, we could have been in trouble. And he did a great job of coming back down at the right time, and ended up getting a sack out of it.
Clemson struggled a little bit on offense, but is there still a sense that it's still Clemson? It could still just click at any point?
1,000%. They have incredible talent all over the field. We've seen what that quarterback can do. Their receivers 6'3". I mean, we hear Shipley may be back. And their stable of running backs is as good as it gets. So there's no question. We respect everything, and they're still the bar. Clemson's the bar.
Are you pleased with how your linemen are getting pressure on the quarterback?
I am, yeah. I mean, we're getting pressure. We're dealing with a lot of RPOs, so that sometimes challenges you in terms of getting to the quarterback, but we are affecting the quarterback. You go back a couple weeks ago, you could argue we forced 2 of those interceptions. So I am happy how we're getting there, and hopefully it produces a few more actual sacks in the stat column. But at the end of the day, there's one stat that matters, right? And that's winning games.
Go ahead. What's Elijah doing to improve his game this year? You had a really big sack where you bulldoze the guy and then brought out him.
Yeah, well, his awareness of what he needs to do to beat a guy, he can do a better job of anticipating what protections are and then how to attack someone. When he came around, we had a little twist game on the inside. He knew the running back was going to be there. And the running back did not know he was coming around. So it was kind of that perfect formula to make that kind of play look the way that it did. So just his overall awareness combined with tremendous work ethic and formulation of his development of his body and all those things are really what you guys are seeing on Saturdays now.
Charlie, you're getting your hands on a number of passes.
Mm-hmm.
What's the key when you're teaching that to you're pushing forward? At what point do you want to get that hand up?
It's a great question. There's various times, and you guys have been out early when we're drilling some of that stuff. The first phase of that, depending on where you are relative to the quarterback, you're going to actually put your hand out in front to pull your hip around the corner. That's the first phase. A lot of times you're not necessarily reaching at the last second. You're reaching to pull your hip around the corner. Then the second phase of that is adjusting it to the ball. Part of it is when's the quarterback front hand come off. I don't want to bore you with a bunch of technical stuff, but at the end of the day, there's a reach component and an adjustment component to where the ball's actually coming out, and it's fun to see the guys get some production out of those training skills.
How gratifying is it as a defensive coach where Virginia Tech tried some of those things, Western Michigan had success with, and you guys defended it better this time?
We're proud of the guys' development in terms of what we need to make some adjustments, and we did. So we anticipated that. We anticipated the rest of the year. I mean, the reality is most offenses are going to copycat something that hurt you earlier in the year. So to the credit of Coach Bates and Coach Dews and the players, we got some things fixed, but there's always something to fix, right? But it certainly is one of the more gratifying things when you can see a team trying to attack you with it, and we have answers, and the kids execute those answers.
When you put the clip of Elijah bulldozing that guy, what kind of reaction did it get in your room?
The first time I saw him get the sack, I didn't realize how forceful or violent that bulldoze of the running back was on the field. You can't quite have the vision. And I'm on the plane grading the film, and I audibly had my headsets on. I went, ooh! And the kids around me knew what play I must have been on, so they started laughing. And we give an award every week for the biggest hit of the week, and we vote on it as players. And this one was Coach Bates said, do we even really need to vote on it? And everyone laughed and said no, and we gave him the award. So it was a fun play to watch.
How does Uyunglele handle himself in the pocket differently from maybe other quarterbacks you guys have faced this season, or even Trevor from last year?
Yeah, I mean, just comparing them to all of them are different, right? Some scramble and take off and run on you. Some scramble to buy extra time and throw the ball. More times than not, he's trying to buy time to throw the ball. He's got a strong arm. Obviously, we all see how big he is. He is capable of running. They've got some quarterback design runs that are challenging to defend. But at the end of the day, if you're not sound in your pass rush lanes, he's going to find the hole, and odds are he's probably going to try and buy extra time to get some of those incredibly talented wide receivers down the field open on scramble routes. So that's our challenge, is to make sure we're great with our lanes, and then if he does pop through, we've really got to rally as quick as we can because of how talented these receivers are, and it's hard to cover them for so long.
Pat talked about that with us like a couple weeks ago. I think the phrase he used was like "kill, don't capture," or something like that. Is that something that you guys talk about a lot? Is maintaining your aggressiveness while doing that? Because I can see an athletic quarterback, you might be thinking, hey, we got to maintain that.
It's a delicate balance, right? I mean, what you don't want is 4 guys standing at the line of scrimmage watching the quarterback pat the ball for 10 minutes. At the same time, you have to have guidelines and guardrails. Defensive ends can't go past the quarterback. D tackles have roughly a 5-yard cap. We got to keep a 2-and-2 balance on the rush. I mean, there's things designed to help guide them through those moments, and as the quarterback moves, that adjusts. But it's a simple way to allow them to aggressively make decisions with guardrails.
How do you feel like the guys have adjusted to that from early on this season, as far as growing and learning how to do that?
Yeah, it tends to come with experience. No matter how hard you train it, no matter how hard you drill it, until you're out there in live action and you took a risk. We talk about risk around here all the time. How high is your risk? How strong is this of a risk that you're taking, and what could it lead to? And until you're in game action and really understand and feel, that the risk got you burnt. Sometimes you only learn that when you get burnt.
Charlie, Pat told us yesterday that he wants to keep this like a normal week. Every week is the same. There's a lot of attention to this game. As coaches, how do you try to keep that the same for guys?
It's honestly, you've heard everything I'm going to say. When I'm driving in, and I love you guys, I don't listen to you guys. I listen to Highway 56 on Sirius or whatever, right? I may listen to something else on an app, but you don't listen, don't read. I mean, I'm on social media more times than not to get some content out there for people, either my dog Meatball or Pitt football. It's about what it is, right, with me. So other than that, I'm communicating with people and just doing everything you can to kind of let it become white noise. And at the end of the day, I have a 12:20 meeting, and we're going to watch practice. That's what's next. And you can just stay on the routine and stay focused on what really matters, because at the end of the day, no one in this auditorium came here to be ranked after 6 games. It's not what anyone signed up for. So what difference does it make? Right? This week is this week, to the point where all year we've been in the D-line room and kind of bought into it. We have a little calendar there, and it's opponent 5, Clemson, or opponent 6, was this game 7? I don't even know. 6. Right? So opponent whatever, and then Clemson, and then opponent number whatever. And then we have a schedule in there, and we have everything blocked out except Clemson. We've been doing that all year. I don't even want to think about what was before, what was after. We look back when we need to learn something. Beyond that, this is Clemson week. We're playing Clemson. All the other stuff has no effect, as best as we can make it that way.
Jerry, you want the last one?
I've been hearing a lot about the adjustments you guys made after the Western Michigan game on the RPOs.
Mm-hmm.
What can you reveal specifically about what those adjustments are?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Jerry, you're putting me in the hot water here, right? I mean, I think at the end of the day, the more experience and the better you get at RPOs and what they're really trying to do and the stress points that they're trying to create, the better you get as a cohesive coaching staff and as a cohesive group of 11 out there on the field that have to execute it. And the more you can do to make them unsure about where the stress points are, the better chance you have. And I'll kind of leave it there.